Hello guys, good evening. I think the screen is visible. Yeah, we have already done with PayPal provider service. While uh, it runs on local host with a server port on 8083, and we have already done with this validation service also, and it runs on the port 8081. Yeah. And payment processing service, it runs on 8082. 8083 PayPal provider, 8082 payment processing, and 8081 is validation service. Yeah. Now we are going to learn the debugging process of this validation service. As I already have running this validation service. First of all, the payment controller. Here in payment validation service, we have taken HmacSHA256 Security along with Spring Security. We have to generate some password, and we have to generate some access token like Hmacsignature. We have to generate some Hmacsignature. For this, security, yes, Hmac filter. In Hmac filter, before Hmac filter we have once per request filter, and in this we have taken do filter internal. This is a kind of filter where the filter chain is going to happen step by step, and here we receive the signature request.getHeader Hmacsignature. Here in the header section we'll get the Hmacsignature as this, and at the same time we'll receive here also in the output Hmacsignature, received Hmacsignature. The Hmacsignature is going to be taken by the header. Then if the Hmacsignature is equals to null, then it is not a valid signature, sending 401 error message. We have some exception, validation exception, where in this we have done with some error code and error message of the this exception. What we are getting, we get some error code and error message of that, and we'll get HTTP status as bad request. Yeah, here we have wrapped the request. The request URI is nothing but this is URL. URI means only this part. URL means complete the part, whole part. If the URI is stored in this data, URI request is stored in this data, and wrapped request, the request which is wrapped dot get body is not equals to null, and wrapped request dot get body is empty. If it is null or if it is empty, then data is equals to data get normalized JSON. We will get JSON kind of body structure. Then we will get Hmacsignature here. In this we will get Hmacsignature, that's we are printing in this, and we are sending this data, means we are printing that. And if it is valid, if the signature is valid, the received signature and the generated signature, if it is valid, then it is true. If it is true, then we'll get is valid calling next filter chain, means it calls next filter after Hmac filter. Then it is an we'll get some authentication token, and do filter. It is a kind of filter in the filter chain. And we are giving that rapid request, and we'll get some response. It is a normalized JSON where we have done in the above code here, normalized JSON. After this, in payment service IMPL, with the help of modular map, we'll create some DTO kind of object, and in that DTO we'll set some user ID, first name, last name, and mail, and mobile phone, and currency, all of these things, and we'll print that here. If payment.dto.get provider ID, if the ID dot equals is equals to PayPal, here in the JSON we can see body. In the body section, provider ID is always PayPal, right? Here we have given some conditions where if any other guy has set some different type of provider, then it is not going to happen. The Hmac security will do his work, and here if it is not other than PayPal, the provider ID is only be PayPal. If it is not, we'll get provider is invalid, and we'll get some exception where it contains error code and error message, or else it displays as, it prints as valid request with PayPal. It is a valid. Then it is a transaction reference. In DTO part we have set some values. Then in authentication token, where in HMAC security we want some authentication token like credentials and get principals. DTO we have converted some POJOs to DTOs. That this is the part of that. This is the set values of transaction reference and provider transaction reference redirect URL, where we have set in this, not in this, we have set some values for these things in create payment rest DTO. And error response, in error response we will get some error code and error message. And in payment we have all currency amount, brand name, all these things. And payment request contain user and payment. In user we have these values, and payment we have already seen that. This is the part where the security comes. The HMAC filter, where is that? The HMAC filter and this enum part, which displays the it is a kind of enum class structure with error codes and error message. This is the error code and this is the error message. We have defined it. Let's debug this. Yes, we have some exceptions. This is important. Exception handler filter, validation exception, and validation exception handler. It is validation exception where it extends runtime exception. It displays some error code, error message, and HTTP status. Okay. And in exception handler we will handle some exceptions. It is a validation exception dot class. It's going to display some error response. Get error code, we'll get some error code and error message, and we'll print those error code and error message here. It is a kind of whole generic part of the error exception, how we are going to handle that exception in the generic part. That's this part. Wait, I'm going to watch this. Yes. Okay. Still how many minutes? For 10 minutes. Yeah. Exception handler, it's going to handle generic exceptions and as well as validation exception. Here in the try block, before exception handler filter, what it happens, and after exception handler filter, it is a validation exception where we'll get some error code and error message. And this is a generic exception where it gives the error code and error message for any type of exceptions. It's a generic. It displays as 500 internal service. You can see HTTP status as 500, and here in validation service we'll get I think here I think here we'll get for not one error exception. Here we'll get 500 internal error, where in payment controller from that DTO will get some requests to the controller, and that request is going to be we'll get from a service layer, and we'll store it in this variable, and we are going to print this. Yes, here it is, 201 created. If it is successful, it will get 201 created, 201 created, and we'll get some output as well, some transaction ID and reference ID, all that things. Yes, it is a capture payment and get payment. We'll get some transaction reference as get payment with the my test key, and return payment means in capture payment we'll get some transaction ID. Then now we are going to execute first, then we're going to debug. Already it's been running. Here we have taken some Spring Security where it suggests some password to take, but we are not going to take this password, and yeah, it tells that the password is for development use only. Your security configuration must be updated before running your application. Yeah, we are going to call this API call. Yes, we got 201 created as a successful reply with the output as transaction reference ID and provided transaction reference ID and redirect URL. And now we are going to check some. Wait, here we have got this HmacSHA256 where in this first it going to execute HMAC filter. See, exception handler filter before do filter. Okay, this is HMAC filter. HMAC filter received signature is this one, right? And it is a data with JSON structure and it is a valid, it is true, right? It is valid, and if it is valid it going to execute further. It is going to call next filter. We have received this payment request and this Pojo is is taken as DTO, converted as DTO, then valid request with PayPal. It is a valid request, you can see here. PayPal provider ID is PayPal. It is a valid, so it's going to execute further. Create payment DTO. This is the data of DTO as a Java object. Then this is the response we got here. See, you can see here, this is the response we got. Here it has printed as response in create response DTO. Next, response entity is 201 created with response as transaction reference and redirect URL. After this HMAC filter, exception filter after do filter, yes, we have got this response. We will do some we will call some API on get payment. I'll give some space here. Don't worry about this HMAC filter, it is not going to take in this get payment. Just it only displays this this transaction reference with my test key as this value is from dev properties file. It is of local means application properties. Don't worry about this. After debugging we are going to explore this. We have got this, yes. First HMAC filter, don't worry about this. Sending data, and data is this one and it is true. is going to call next filter, and it received the transaction reference, and my test key is application properties. We'll get this. Next we are going to do capture payment. We are just testing this part of execution. Don't worry about this Hmac signature. Yes, we got only transaction reference, as we have seen in the code already. You only get the transaction reference. Okay, next, can we debug now? We are going to stop this. Let me see this, what's happening, what is the time. Okay, it's been running. We have 3 minutes left, and we are going to continue in the next video.